in today's lesson, we are going to learn all about arrays by making an app called the Celebrity Dating app, where it's kind of like Tinder, where I'm going to be able to go through celebrities and just say, do I want to date them or not? That's it. Now, here's the deal. To do this app, we need to learn a little bit about something called arrays. All right. Now, arrays are just lists. All right. And this comes in handy if you have a big list of information. For example, if you have a lot of names, right? Like the names of celebrities or pictures of celebrities or students in a school or there's addresses. There are many, 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 many times in coding where you have these enormous lists and it doesn't make sense to go through it one by one. And what I mean by that is, let's say I had a list of celebrities. I wouldn't want to do celeb1 equals Zendaya, right? Let celeb2 equal Kevin Hart. Let celeb3 equal the. So you can see how if I got to like, well, first of all, 3, I'm already tired of writing this, but if I got to 100, 1,000, a million, this would get insane. So to make our lives easier, we're going to use something called arrays. And arrays are just lists. So what it looks like is this. What I would do is I would just create something called celebs, and usually you name your arrays plural because there's multiples in there. We say equals and then these braces. Now inside of this is where we're going to store our list, and this is how it works. I'll just put here Zendaya, Kevin Hart, The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and then we'll go with his wife, Blake Lively, right? So whatever. So now we have our list right here, and notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in our list. All right, so our array has 5 elements in it. Now, if I wanted to show you this list back, I'd just console log celebs. We can take a look here. Let's look at our console. Okay, let's show that. Okay, press play. Okay, you'll see here, this is my array, right? It has my 5 items in it. But let's say I want to access things individually, right? Like I don't need all of the names right now. How do I access them one by one? Well, the way you do it is you put braces. So remember, the name of this array is celebs. I put braces. And then what would make sense is that if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So let's try that out. So this is just their positions. We call this the index. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Zendaya is at index 1. Kevin Hart's at index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5. Let's press play. And there's a weird behavior here. Do you see what the weird part is? It console log Kevin Hart, which is the second thing, even though I put 1 here. And that's because arrays start counting, well, in JavaScript, start counting at 0. All right, so they start counting them in 0 in JavaScript. So if I wanted to console log Zendaya, I would have to start at 0. If I press 1 here, Zendaya pops up, right? That's the first one. So Zendaya's at index 0. Kevin Hart's at 1, The Rock is at 2, and Ryan Reynolds is at 3. All right, so that's basically how this works. All right, now for our app, basically what we want to do is we want to be able to cycle through different celebs, right? And like say, do I want to date them or not? If you look at our app right here, okay, let's hide this. All right, and we have a right and a left. Okay, right, left. So to do my right swipe, what I could do here is this. So we'll say let, and let's just like make a reference to the button so it's clickable. So I'll say let right swipe equal document.query selector. Okay, let's get the ID of that button. The ID of the button for right swipe is right. Makes sense. Hashtag right. Okay, and then we'll say right swipe add event listener. By the way, you can press tab if you need to do the fill-ins. It just makes life easier sometimes. Okay, boom. All right, so we got it. That's our right swipe. Now, usually right here I'd write all the code, but we're going to make our code a little bit more readable by adding functions. We got to practice our functions a little bit more, or our procedures. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to make a function that updates the screen. So I'm going to say update screen. Okay? Or we'll call this swipe right. All right, I'm going to run this function. So let's make our function now called swipe right. Okay. And what I just want to do is show the names up here. Now, let's just do it like a silly basic version of that. If I wanted to show Zendaya up here, what I would have to do is A, get a reference to this, right? And then change the inner HTML. So I'd say let celeb equal document.query selector. Okay. Where am I going to put my output? I'm going to put it here in the celebrity container. So this is where it all goes, right? Here we go, back here. Okay, I'm going to say hashtag celebrity container. All right, and then I'll say celeb.inner HTML equals celebs, right? That's the name of all, that's where my array is. And then let's show them 0. So the very stupid version of this, let's see, if I swipe right, let's press play, swipe right, Zendaya pops up. Now if I press right, nothing happens because see here, it's always at position 0. So to make it change, and whenever you hear the word change in computer science, you should think, I probably need a variable. So that's a good idea. Let's make a variable. So we'll say let index equal 0. All right, so we're going to just make a variable called index and set it equal to 0. So instead of putting it here, instead of putting the number 0, I'll just put index, which is at 0. So let's try this again. And once again, it still works because index is still 0. But it's still not going up. So what would I have to do to make it change? What if I made the index go up by 1? All right, so what I could do here inside of swipe up is I'm going to say index equals index plus 1. And what that says is after we swipe right, we've shown them, we're going to increase the index by 1. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, press play, and here, Zendaya, good. Oh, Kevin Hart. The Rock, good. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and then undefined. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because we've actually gone above, there's no more left. And if I were to show this to you, let's console log the index, console.log the index, right? If I were to look over here, let's show this, play it, up, 2, 3, 4, right? So I'm at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so right, Blake Lively. And then there's just no more celebrities, right? So here's a little weird behavior that like it ends. So how could we make it happen? So if like we get to the last thing in the array, we could loop back around. And the way we would do that is this. If, okay, the index is less than, what's it called? The length of our array. So we'll say a celebs.length, and .length tells us the length of our, the array, which is in this case 5, right? So as long as our index is lower, so if 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, right, or 4, there are things. As long as it's less than, we'll show it. If not, right, then we got to loop back to the beginning. So what I'm going to do here is make an else statement. So I'll say, let's say else, and then we can just take this again, and in this case, we're going to set the index back to 0, and then show the users this again, all right? So this way, it does the looping. Oh, nope. So this one, if you look here, sorry, I just want to make this look pretty. Okay, selector, still not, oh, let's move this back. I just gotta make it look pretty, guys. Okay, so if you look here, now it's gonna set the index back to 0, right? And then we'll show the thing. So let's see if this works now. Press play, 2, 3, 4, 5, or at the end. And then we loop back to the beginning, right? And then we keep going. And now our thing works, it keeps looping and looping. Now I have to say, this is pretty good. I like the way the app's working. It's nice, but let's take it up a notch. Wouldn't it be better if we actually showed the user like the actual, like a picture of the celebrity rather than just the name, right? Like whenever people log into these dating apps, they probably have pictures. So what we could do is actually look for pictures here. So let's look for pictures of celebrities. So the first one was Zendaya. Let's find a picture here. And what I'm going to do is go to this, and I'll copy the image address. I'm going to put that in for the name here. Okay, so I'm going to just put a picture there. And then I can go to Kevin Hart. Okay, it's great. Let's copy that. Copy image address. Boom. Okay, let's put him here. All right, let's do The Rock. The Rock. Okay, look at these images. I'm going to replace that here. So I'm just putting these image addresses into the array. Okay, let's do Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds. No short of pictures of him on the internet, huh? What a hunk. And then Blake Lively, who is the most popular person right now, right? People are just getting some lashback. Blake Lively. Okay, there we go. Yeah, some mean interviews. You know, people are not fans anymore. So now I have, instead of 5 names, I have 5 images here. And what I could do now is, instead of just showing this, check out what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do backticks. Check out why. I'm going to put an image. Okay. Let's give it an ID because we might want to style this thing later. Call it pic. More importantly, we want to give it the source. And the source, I'm going to do $, curly braces. Remember, that's how we interpolate. And I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to put it in here. So now the source will be these images. Let's just grab this, put it over here as well. We're going to do this in 2 different instances. Let's give that a play. Okay, let's try it out. I'm going to press play. And there we go. We got Zendaya. Oh, that one's way too big. Oh, we can't even see the whole screen now. Like, everything got pushed off. I think we should style this. Let's use that. Let's go here. Let's say hashtag pic. Let's say width 300 pixels. Height 300 pixels. Let's smush the thing so it fits in there. Okay, let's try this one more time. Play it out. There we go. Look at that. And now we have our app. Now, I encourage you to see if you could do the following. See if you can make it so it goes left. All right? Now, the only thing that's different here is that the index should go down, right? And when it hits a certain point, maybe let's say when it goes less than 0, maybe that's when it loops back around to the highest part of the array. So that's an interesting thing to do. But that's what we got here. So if you've got all the code here, it's time to start your lab. I wish you the best of luck.